My seventh life and beyond. I was down in South America in the city of Brasilia, Brazil, raising up a church when one day God clearly showed me my last job that I was called to finish for Him. God was showing me my future. He revealed to me that I was to show His strength to this generation. God was telling me to go throughout America with the gospel by every means possible, through radio, television, tapes, writing, etc. He said to show them His greatness, how wonderful and good He is. I was to witness for Him, talk for Him. I said, God, that's my last job? He said, that is your last job, the last job that you must do. But that's not all. You also must show my power to everyone that is to come. I asked, who is that? The young ministers of the land, he said. Show the power of God to the young ministers of the land. Tell them that I am real and that they can trust me, that I won't let them down, that I will stick closer than a blood brother. Tell them that they can afford to trust me and that I will bless them. And then God spoke something else to me. He said, if you are faithful to me, I will bring you into television and I will give you 1 million souls by television. But I didn't know anything about television. As at other times in my life, it looked like a good opportunity to quit, but I did not quit. God began to give us television stations. Because I didn't quit, we now speak to millions of people through television. We also are on shortwave radio. The hardware alone cost us $1.2 million. The money that we needed was hard to get. I went all over America asking for help. We simply decided that we were not going to quit. I have now lived 7 lives. My first life, my life in sin, was from age 1 up to age 17. I then started my second life until I became a missionary. I'm living in my 7th and final part right now. When it's over, I want the testimony of the Apostle Paul. I want to be able to say, I have finished my course. I have been faithful unto God. There is laid up for me a crown of righteousness in heaven. Out in front of us today is a great world, a world that needs to hear about Jesus. I don't want to ever quit, and I am coming to you, begging you, neighbor, friend, don't ever quit. Moses was not a quitter. Elijah was not a quitter. Gideon was not a quitter. Don't ever let God down. Don't ever turn back. Remember, as you run the race of life as a Christian, that it is a marathon, not a sprint. Good marathon runners never enter a marathon race unless they intend to finish it. God intends for you to run well and finish strong. As the writer of Hebrews says so well in the famous faith chapter, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts. And by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because God had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased God. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly, wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was a-dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph, and worshipped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel, and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians essaying to do were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts, and in mountains, and in dens and caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise, God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. Hebrews 11, verse 1-40. I wrote something in my Bible on the fly leaf. It says, when all the possibilities are against me, I still have all of the impossibilities before me. You do too. Commentary on my 7th life and beyond. Here are my takeaway lessons from the message. Number 1. Dr. SUMRALL emphasizes the importance of recognizing and fulfilling God's specific calling in your life. He illustrates this through his own journey, showing how God directed him towards sharing his greatness and power with others. Number 2. The narrative underscores the importance of perseverance. Dr. SUMRALL faced obstacles, particularly with his lack of knowledge about television, but he chose not to quit, demonstrating that faith and determination can lead to significant outcomes. Number 3. The message reiterates the necessity of faith, referencing Hebrews 11 to highlight the heroes of faith who acted despite uncertainty. Dr. SUMRALL encourages believers to trust in God's promises, even when circumstances seem bleak. Number 4. Dr. SUMRALL aspires to finish his life's work faithfully, echoing the Apostle Paul's desire to proclaim, "I have finished my course." He stresses the importance of living with intention and purpose, aiming for a lasting impact. Number 5, the plea to not quit serves as a motivational rallying cry. Dr. SUMRALL uses biblical examples, Moses, Elijah, and Gideon, to inspire others to remain steadfast in their faith journeys. Number 6, life is portrayed as a marathon, emphasizing endurance and long-term commitment rather than quick results. This perspective encourages believers to pace themselves and focus on finishing well. And finally, number 7, seeing beyond the present. Dr. SUMRALL's quote about possibilities versus impossibilities suggests a mindset of hope and vision. It encourages looking beyond immediate challenges to see the potential God has for your life.